Now that you've had the chance to enjoy the book, Anansi the Spider, let's talk about those illustrations with all the lines and patterns, with all the color and shapes, all the things that we have been talking about all year long: line, shape, pattern, color, texture. They are all here in the illustrations of this story. And I love the bright colors. And now it's time to create our own Anansi the Spider. Are you ready? Okay, to start off our Anansi project, we need to locate in our bag of tricks from a couple of weeks ago the paper that's papered together with the black square and the red paper that says Anansi. And we are going to use that for this project. But as I always like to do, I want to start off with some sketch paper first. So if you have some sketch paper at home or computer paper, you can use that. And the first thing we're going to do is sketch out our Anansi's web, spider web, before we put it on the good red paper. So let's get started with that. Okay, we are going to practice some great lines and patterns to put on our web. I showed you the pictures at the start of this video that showed all those great lines, patterns, repeating and not repeating. We need to practice before we put ours on good paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is just put some random lines going down the paper. And that should be enough, actually. Then I'm going to divide up the sections. Some sections can be close together. Some can be further apart. There might be some very close and some medium. Another close one. I'm going to go in between over here, and I'm going to make a wider one here and then jump down and so on. So I've got a few areas now that I'm ready to practice. So one of the things that I could do is just repeating vertical lines across the section. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but there were some fantastic dots that were part of the web design, and so I'm going to add some dots here too. So there's one section that I could have. Another section could have some lines going one way. I'll do 3. And then some lines going this way. I'll do 3. And that could be another section of my web. I might want to do arrow points that go all the way across my section. Could fit one more in there, right? And I think I'll add some more of those dots at the top of each of those. Maybe one here. And at the bottom of each of those. Yeah. Okay, I could do zigzags. So we have straight lines, we have X's, we have arrows, we have zigzags. What else could we do? We could do 1, 2, 3 going this way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think that's an A-B pattern, don't you? A-B, A-B, I like that. And I might even do, so you know, part of our year this year has been talking about lines and shapes and colors. Here's a chance to try out those lines. We haven't used them in a while for a specific project just with line. So we're going to put our thinking caps on and come up with as many different ideas for Anansi's web as we can. I'm just going to do polka dots in this little skinny spot right here. Dots, I like those. And I might do up and down and down. And up and up. I like it. Yeah, that'll work. And I think I'm just going to do 3 going this way, 3 going that way, 3 going that way. Sort of like a checkerboard thing there going on. I can leave some spots open. And I'm going to make a skinny one here. And then I'm going to, I'm thinking, can you tell? It's like the triangle, only I'm going to do a flat bottom. So what I want you to do on your first practice is come up with a bunch of different ideas of how you're going to design the sections of Anansi's web. This will be what you'll use then when it comes time to put it on the good red paper. You'll have practiced it out here, okay? It doesn't hurt to go back to the first part of this video and take a look at Anansi's web for some extra ideas right from the book itself. Okay, so the next thing we're ready to do once we've got that, and I'm not going too far with this, I'm just going to put it aside. The next thing I want you to do is take your paper, and I want you, this is your second practice paper, and I want you to do this. I want you to put a dot, and then I want you to move over and put a dot, and then another dot, and then a dot. Okay? Doesn't matter if they're exactly like this, but here's what we'll do. We'll connect from here to here. Boom. I'm going to connect from here to here. Yes. And from here to here. Now, do you see where these two lines are? I'm going to go from that point, and I'm going to go out, and I'm going to go out. I'm going to do one more in the middle. I can go here, and I can go here. There we go. This is where I'm going to start now in creating Anansi's web. I've got sections that I've made. And looky here. You've already done some sections with ideas. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take those ideas that you worked on and we're going to put them over here. Okay, so I had dots at the top and I had dots at the bottom. And then I had straight lines that went down, or I could connect. They're kind of tilted lines here, aren't they? Yes. Good. Then I had that big section, and I did 1, 2, ooh, I'm trying to keep it close together, 3. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Another section done. Maybe make a little skinny line here with some circles inside. So now what I'm doing is I'm practicing the whole web on the web paper using the designs I practiced. Okay, so I now got another section that has the arrows that are keep pointing and keep moving across the section. So here they are. Ooh, got to connect all the way across. Yep. And you can see on my design over here, I decided to do dots at the bottom. All right. Then I did another skinny set. Right here's that skinny set. And I'm going to leave that be. I know I have these two sections left. I'm going to use them over here. Okay. Now I'm going to start here. And I'm going to put my big circles in there. So you see, little by little, we're going to start creating a web for our Anansi that we're going to create. And then one came down. Do you see over on my practice? That's where I came up with that idea. So I'm transferring it over here. And I've got a plan. So just like this, I know exactly where I'm going. 1, 2, 3 with my design. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you will probably come up with other ideas for lines and patterns that I don't have. I'm going to do a straight line and then I'm going to put a wavy line in the middle. Okay. If you get stuck, you can always add a line with dots. That should be good enough for some spots, right? And then I know I need an extra line here, and I'm going to do drop down, straight, push up. Drop down, straight, push up. Drop down, straight, push up. And then I'm going to do what I did at the bottom. Push up, across, and down. Push up, across, and down. And I am starting to build Anansi's web. Get up a few ideas first. and then draw it onto here, and then you're ready for the red paper. Now forgive me, but I'm going to do this one more time on the other side to show you how to get your basic web going. So I'm going to flip my paper. There it is. Get him out of this. And you might start up at here, and you might go low, then you might go up, then you might go straight over, so you can have more dots. And you're going to go down. And then you're going to go upward a little bit. Then we're going to go straight over, and we're going to go out. And then we're going to let our lines come out from these spaces, and that creates our Anansi web. Then we put our designs that we've practiced into these sections. Does everybody understand? You see how you build your web? Okay, so when it is time to do it on the good paper, we're ready. We've practiced, we have some ideas, we've worked out our mistakes before we put it on the good paper, and here we go. There's my red paper. Now I've got my Anansi here, so I'm going to flip it over to the other side. And now it's time to get into your bag of supplies and pull out your white oil pastel that you had. I put it in the bottom of your bag. You should have it. And so we're going to do a dot over here, and I'm going to do a dot here, just like I did, whoops, on my practice paper. I'm kind of moving it over to the red paper. Up a little, straight over, and up. And if you remember, we did, And then I'm going to start making the web. You can see the cardboard under my paper makes an interesting texture. I don't know if you noticed that or not. And here. And what I can do is make one section even smaller, like so. So now I'm going to take my practice section, and I am going to start putting those sections in. Pretty soon you won't need to refer to your practice paper. You'll come up with different ideas all on your own, okay? Now, one thing you need to know, Mrs. Barnes doesn't actually have oil pastels at home. It's not something I normally work with, so I'm doing this part with chalk, and that's why you're seeing some of this flaking stuff. You have to press hard with your oil pastel so that white really shows up. Okay, and little by little, I am going to create my Anansi's web on the red paper with the white oil pastel. So I'm going to finish mine up, and then I'll come back and show you, and then we'll talk about how we're going to create Anansi so that we can put him on his web. Well, now you can see that I have used my white oil pastel. Well, I use chalk, but you're going to use oil pastel. And I have kind of done my web design on my red paper. I used my practice sheet with all of my ideas. And if I ran out of ideas, I went back here and worked out a few more designs before I added it to my web. Now, what I want you to notice here, some sections of the web are long. Some go way long all the way to the bottom. Some are shorter. They don't have to all go off the edge of the paper. You can have some red spots showing at the bottom, okay? And we have our open spot at the top. So now that we have gotten our web done, and did you press hard with your oil pastel? Are you really getting a good contrast between the red and the white? I hope so. That's pretty important. Now we have used all that wonderful line that the illustrator of this book uses. Just lots of great different lines. Wavy, straight, zigzag, dotted. He's got them all in here. And so line is the first element that we have really used a lot of in this design. Now we're going to get ready to use our little block of black, and we're going to create Anansi the Spider out of this. And here's what I also recommend, a small scrap of white paper. We're going to use this to color and use the bright parts of his body by using markers on white paper. All right, so let's talk about how to create Anansi, and we're going to use another element of art, shape. Well, we have this little piece of black paper that was in your folder, and we're going to use this scrap to create Anansi the Spider. So we're going to do it step by step. I'm going to use a white colored pencil because you will be able to see what I draw on the black paper. You can use a regular pencil because you will be able to see it. But in a video, you couldn't see a regular pencil. That's why I'm using this guy. All right, so let's talk about how we're going to create the body of Anansi using shapes. Now, we already did a lot of great line on his web. So now adding some shape to create the spider is going to be a little bit fun. So let's do it. All right, so this is a rectangle, and I am going to take this corner right here, and I'm going to kind of roll up and over until it meets the edge, the top edge here, and I am going to fold. And when I crease that down, I have a triangle. I'm going to open it up. And I now am going to, you can see the crease maybe in the video, but I'm going to outline it with my white colored pencil so you can see it really good. There we go. Now I'm going to take a ruler and I am going to draw a line from this corner to the line. But I'm going to make sure that when I draw it, that I see a really good triangle shape in here. Okay, do you see this spot in here? Pretty good triangle. When you draw the line with your ruler, hold the ruler down so it doesn't move and draw a line. Boom, there's my first triangle. And look, I've created a second one as well. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to cut out the triangle right here, and we're going to cut it right here. There it is. And this is going to make the body of Anansi. Now when I cut out this second triangle, right, whoa, Nellie, come back, my pencil, sorry. When we cut out the second triangle, we're going to use this to create Anansi's head. And here's how we're going to do it. We are going to put a dot here and a dot here, and we are going to begin drawing up tall to the top of the paper, and we're going to come all the way back down to the other dot. Nice, rounded, almost an oval, but we're not connecting it at the bottom. And there it is. So when I cut this out with my scissors, right on the line, try to stay right there. Now don't make a mistake and cut into the center. That would be hard. Okay, and now I have the oval that will become Anansi's head. All right, so while I'm at it, I'm going to take my glue stick, and the side that has the pencil marks on it is the side that the glue will go on. So I'm going to rub some glue right on that tip. I'm going to make sure that the triangle is pointing downward, and right in the middle of the top, I'm going to glue Anansi's head. So this is the body and the head of Anansi. Now Anansi has a nice big head. This one's even a little, I could have even gone a little bigger. So don't make the head too tiny because we're going to put some decoration, some eyeballs and some things in there. So here is your body and your head of your spider. Okay, got it. Now this scrap, I'm going to even keep these. I'm going to put them aside. This scrap, I'm going to use my ruler again, and I am going to draw some lines with my pencil that are going to become the legs of Anansi. Now, I'm going to just kind of eyeball this. This is going to be the hardest part, actually, is trying to keep these lines straight. Now, if you think you can cut straight lines without drawing them first, well, good luck. You can try that. We don't have a whole lot of paper scrap here to work with, and we need all the legs we can get. So I'm going to take my scissors after I draw these lines, open the jaws of the scissors really wide and put your paper in there, and then close the jaws, open the jaws, and down. There we go. Open. Do you see how wide my scissors are open? And my hands open up to let those jaws open up. And then I'm going to cut down. Close the jaws right on your line. Most of you are really good cutters, so I don't have to worry about that. And you're just going to keep going until you cut yourself some legs for Anansi. Now, I'm telling you, we're probably going to use all of this black paper for it, but I'm going to start off with this. If I'm going to draw more white lines, I'd turn my triangle sideways, and I would just keep drawing and cutting till I have a lot of those scraps to make all of those crazy lines of Anansi. All right, and then I'm just going to cut a few more. Straight down, open your jaws. Now I'm getting to the point that I can open the jaws of the scissors and put the paper in there, and in one cut, I can cut all the way down because my paper's shorter now. Here's if you were going to cut them freehand. You have to really keep your scissors straight, and then you've got all the stuff you need to make the legs for Anansi the Spider. All right, so let's talk about how we're going to put the legs on. All right, I am ready to put the legs on Anansi, and here is how it goes. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see this is the back side of my Anansi, and I know it's the back because I can see the pencil marks, and the pencil marks are always the wrong side, right? There we go, and I've got it. So I am going to be gluing the legs onto the back side of the spider. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. First thing I'm going to do is put a dot right next to his neck. Then I'm going to put one in the middle and then one at the end. And what I'm going to do is take my glue stick, and I am going to rub the end of my spider leg there on the glue, and I'm going to glue the first one out that way. There we go, out a little bit away from his head. Okay, now I'm going to take another one, and I'm going to take the end and rub it on the glue stick with my finger. Ooh, get enough on there. Ooh, my fingers are sticky. You might have to wipe them off in between here. You know how we get. And I'm going to put it right here, also going out from the body. There it is. And then, of course, I'm going to take my last leg, just picking out one here. I'm going to rub it on the end of the glue stick. You can use your thumb, you can use your pointer finger, and I am going to glue it right out the side. There we go. Got it? Then I'm going to take one of my sticks of black paper, and I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to cut it because the leg that comes out of the side of his body is shorter. I'm going to keep that piece. I'm going to rub the tip with some glue, and coming straight out the side of Anansi is this leg. All right, do you see how that looks? Yes, starting to get it. So I'm going to take my pencil, one by the neck, one in the middle, one on the end, and there we go. And so I'm going to take a stick, rub it on, get my glue on there, put it right next to his head and going outward. There it is. This is a tricky spider. And then we're going to rub, oops, see how the pencil mark's on that side? Well, I want to put the glue on that side. So I'm going to rub a dub-dub on top of the glue stick, and it's going to go outward too. Boom. Nice. Ooh, I'm starting to get sticky. So at this point, you could walk over to the sink, or maybe if you have a wipe handy, baby wipe, or go and get a wet paper towel and squeeze it out really good. Keep your fingers clean, because it gets tricky. I'm going to take another leg. We're getting there. Rub and place. Right out the corner of his body is this next one. There we go. Okay, we're starting to see it now. It's starting to take shape. Yes. What do we need? Well, I have this other short piece I already used. Although, do you see how this one's skinny and that one's fat? Well, you know Mrs. Picky. So I'm going to fold another piece and cut it so that it's the same thickness as this leg. It's about right. Rub it on, and boom, boom, boom. Can you see that? I hope you can. And then I'm gonna glue it across from this leg, straight out to the side. Boom. All right, so now we're going to add, let's turn it over and see what it looks like, because remember, this is the back side of the spider, so let's turn it over. Oh, he's looking really good. Yeah, and you can see I wasn't paying close attention. Some of my pencil lines are showing on the front. All right, so we got to be careful about that. Now, here's what I want to do. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to put it right at the top of Anansi's head. Kind of straight line across the top. Maybe. There we go. And then once I get it positioned just right, I'm going to draw a line, and a line, and a line, and over here too, line, because the top of his, where his legs bend, should be as tall as his head. And we can use these pieces, I'm sure. So I'm going to cut where my little lines are. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, now I got them where I want them. All right, so the next step would be to take other pieces, our long sticks, and we're going to glue the legs on, pointing downward. All right, and they can touch on top. 1 goes here. I kind of put it behind. 1 goes here. Now I'm starting to see my spider legs. And this one. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to slide this behind here. All right. Now, because we might have to add some pieces to make his legs longer, I kind of like how this is looking, do you? And then we're going to go down this way. So you're going to glue your second pieces right on to your Anansi. See how I've got them going here? All right. And that is how you're going to create your spider. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take and glue these pieces on this way. So I'm going to take him and put him on his back again, or put him with his face down. And his first leg gets glued on right here, straight here in the back. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right here. And I'm going to glue it to the top of this leg. Boom. There's one. Then I'm going to take another one, rub glue just on the top, and put it right here, going downward. Yep, there's another one. And then I'll take my third one and rub glue at the top. Ooh, yeah, it's getting on the thumb at the same time, and put it there. And then my last one, I'm going to glue on the back of this guy. I might have to lift this leg up a little bit, get it out of the way, right? And I'm going to rub and glue it on. Boom. Now I can push this guy down. And when I flip this guy over, my Anansi, ooh, I glued him to my paper, my table. Holy cow. Help me. Here's what I'm going to do. Use my scissors a little bit to break it free. There we go. And there's Anansi. He's going to go in his web pretty soon. See how he looks? All right, so let me put this down where you can actually see it. There we go. So I'm going to put him on my web. I could put him up here. I could put him down. I could put him over this way. After I finish these other legs, of course. So let me do just that. Let me finish the other side of his legs. And then I'll come back and we'll get him on the paper and decorate him. All right, let's do it. The last step to complete Anansi is to give him some eyes and a mouth and some decorations. So you can see here I had colored my white paper into bright colors and have used it to cut out some shapes like triangles and circles and long strips. And all you would do after you cut them is glue them on. So I know that Anansi has a type of headband, and so I'm going to get some glue on my little orange strip. I kind of measured so I know what size to make his headband, and I'm going to glue it on. Next step would be to add some eyes, rub it on top of the glue stick. Whoa, Nelly. There we go. Got the glue on it. And I'm going to glue one on, and then the other, and rub it on. There we go, get some glue on there. This is the hard part because our Anansi is kind of small. There we go. Now I cut, I'm going to wet my finger to pick it up. There we go. I cut a little upside down triangle to make his mouth. And all this is paper that I have colored with my markers. And I'm going to put that on so it looks like he is somewhat smiling. Now we don't have a whole lot of room to make more things on his eyes, or you might want to add eyebrows if you can fit it, but I've cut some triangles and I'm 2 tall ones going up and 1 short one going down. So I am going to rub my glue on that and put it in place. And then I'll do the same with my other 2 pieces. Rub it on the glue and put it in place right next to his chin there. And that leaves me just enough room. Wet your finger, pick it up. That leaves me just enough room to put the center triangle in. Trying to keep it as neat as we can. This is the hard part for sure. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is an example of how Anansi the Spider can be created as a beautiful piece of art. You know, if you read a lot of books, you know that illustrators are the people that draw the pictures for the book. And I especially like the illustrations. That's what the pictures in books are called, illustrations. I really like the illustrations in Anansi the Spider. So we've used that today to kind of inspire us to create our own piece of art based on the illustrator's work. And we've used line and shape and color, and you should be pretty proud of yourselves right now because you have created Anansi the Spider. Good job.